Hello, quilting friends. It is Tuesday. I'm home in my studio, and we're going to see how the comment section and all of that works today. Um, sorry, I came home in time to have spring allergies. Let me grab the chats. We are working. Terry, you are the first one here today. I miss you too. And Patty, hello. Hello in Ohio. Good to see you there. And sorry, Terry, hello in Texas. I am home and I just this minute finished a chore that happens around, April 15th every year in the United States. So the rest of today I get to sew, and I'm pretty excited about that. Um, what's new in your world? Uh, Last week I saw you Tuesday afternoon, and then I got in a car and I drove to New Hampshire, to Manchester, New Hampshire, to the New England Quilt Expo, which was fabulous. I was at the New England Quilt Expo in 2023, but it was a couple weeks after I got out of the hospital. So I taught and slept and taught and slept and taught and slept and went home. That's kind of my recollection of the show. So this year I got to go to the show, and I got to work on the show floor for a little bit and talk to people about Handy Quilter in addition to teaching classes. And it was fabulous. It was just fabulous. Um, I used to do quilt shows all the time, and quilt shows are a lot of physical work. I'm not the same person I was 6 years ago. A lot has happened. Whenever I was teaching full time before the pandemic, I would hear, I would say something, oh, I made this for my grandchild or whatever. And they say, you have a grandchild? No way, you're not old enough. And then as I'm coming back to work, I say, oh, I made this for my grandchild. They're like, oh, how many do you have? So I know that this looks older now. I know it's been a rough several years on me physically, and I look my own age now. So yes, I do have grandchildren. And by the way, I have 5 of them, which is fantastic. So quilt shows are hard, and they're hard on someone who's completely able-bodied. Because when I started back in 2006, by the way, 20 years this week, I've been working with Handy Quilter. I did my first quilt show for them, which was MQX in New Hampshire this week in 2006. So happy anniversary, happy Handy Quilter anniversary to me. I think I'll have to make cupcakes or something. We'll see if I make something. I will be making cookies because I make my cookies. I make chocolate chip cookies for my husband every year when he files my not prepared on time taxes, not prepared in an early fashion. So my husband does. I will be making chocolate chip cookies. So when I started, I was 20 years younger, and I was able-bodied, and quilt shows are still physically hard. It's hard on your feet. It's hard standing. It's very tiring. It's hard on the voice. So I did blow out my voice at the quilt show. Going in with a cold, coming out with allergies, and blowing out my voice means I'm going to sound like this for months, which is fine. So Terry, do I like Handy Quilter? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. They kept me on as a contractor, even though I took several years off to do health challenges. So basically, for them to get rid of me isn't going to involve a restraining order, because I don't take hints well, because I'm back. I love them. I love everything they stand for. I've enjoyed working with them for 20 years, and should I not work with them, I will not be working with another sewing machine company. They are my heart, and I'm really happy to be there. Good people doing the right things with good machines, good retailers. So anyway, it's been a fabulously positive experience for me over the last 20 years. So being at the quilt show, being in New Hampshire, that's my family up there, because I've taught up in that area about 200 times over 20 years, if not more. And it's just been fantastic. This is my family. When my house was destroyed in 2019, we found it on a Sunday night, Monday morning, and I was on the road Wednesday afternoon to go to New Hampshire to teach. They were like, are you sure you're coming? I'm like, well, the hotel has a roof. My house doesn't. Of course I'm coming. And my husband was like, are you going to be okay to go? And I'm like, it's my family up there. It's fine. If I need anything, they'll take care of it. I was there, and the hotel called and canceled a reservation I had. And a student in class said, hey, you can come sleep in my guest room. And I was going to go. It's just family. I had a student I met up there who got stuck on the highway in snow. I live on Interstate 84 in New York, and they were closing exits due to weather. And she was messaging me on Facebook while she was sitting in stuck in traffic. It's like, if I can, will you put me up? I'm like, of course I'll put you up. Now, mind you, I live on a mountain, so her getting to me was going to be the challenge. She did find a hotel room, but yes, I mean, it's that type of, it's family. It's family. So it was a family reunion for me. There was a lot of hugs, a lot of selfies. I got presents. I'm just, I can't tell you how happy I was to be there with my people. I can no longer stand vertically to work in a quilt booth. My spine will not allow me to do that. But I have a really light bar stool I carry around with me. I just carried it from machine to machine, and I just sat down and talked to people. So I wasn't sitting like low. I was sitting high-low, and I could still make somewhat eye contact with people, and not one person minded in the least. Now, I probably won't be doing corporate handy quilter shows because part of that contract is setting up, tearing down. This body cannot do that, as well as the standing thing. But it was wonderful working at the Bits and Pieces Handy Quilter booth at the show. That I got to help people visit with quilters, give them information, spread the handy quilter love. It was just, I can't tell you. Does it look like I'm happy? Because I'm really happy. I'm so tickled I got to be there. Let's see. Happy anniversary. Why, thank you. I have a delightful voice. Yes, this is just the way it's going to be for a while. I don't hear, my lungs and throat don't heal so well since I had COVID. So let's see who's here. Hi, Dina. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. So that was fabulous. I put up posts every day. I haven't yet put up the post of the teacher ribbon because I came home and I just sat and stared and went to bed. Sunday, did nothing. Last night, I was working all day. My husband and I went to the movies, came home, went to bed, got up this morning working. So anyway, the last pictures are still on my phone. They'll be coming out on Instagram of my the quilt I awarded my teacher ribbon to. So that was great. I had a friend staying in my hotel room with me. It was just, I'm going to be high for weeks on this experience. Let's see, Laura. Hello, Laura. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you. Now, I haven't made it back in my studio yet. I come home, the computer goes on the kitchen table, but now that things are pretty well unpacked, I'm going to probably make it back to the sewing room this afternoon and be on my desk in there and be quilting. But what I bought at the quilt show is right here. I didn't buy a lot because I was teaching and working in the booth, but I did a little damage. So let's see. There was a vendor. At the Armory, there's two exhibition halls in this venue. One is over at like the New England Quilt Expo Center or whatever it is in Manchester. And one is the Armory in the historic part of the building, which is around the corner and behind the DoubleTree. So just kind of through the lobby. And there was the Bedford Friendship Quilt Guild meets the third Tuesday of every month in Bedford, New Hampshire. And they commissioned a Villa Rosa design for their card. How cool is that? So I'm going to keep the information on this guild because I now want to make this quilt, which is 54 by 72 inches, and it is called Beatrice, sorry. So that was cool. I picked up an All New England Shop Hop, which I didn't go to, but I got one of these from one of those Patches Quilt Loft and Embroidery. So there's a fun block, half square triangles. I also picked up their ruler. I collect these little creative grids. I love these little 2.5 by 6.5 inch rulers. Just the one that fits in the palm of my hand for trimming everything. I got a fat quarter. It was just random. And someone apparently, whoever just randomly put that in my registration packet knew that those colors would be perfect for me because they are. The person I was with, we were taking out stuff from our registration and they got like a blue one, like kind of a reproduction blue. They're like, "Ooh, this is pretty." And they're like, "Ooh, they know you." I'm like, "They sure do." So I also, I was at the YLI booth and I wanted to learn about their product. I have their product catalog, but what I wanted to learn about most was their pre-wound bobbins. So they have a line of pre-wound bobbins for home sewing machines in L's and 15s, in polyester and in cotton. So I'll be trying those and letting you know what I think of them. YLI, its Precision is polyester and Dream Seam is cotton. And then I have those again for L and 15. My high-speed machine is L, and the machine I quilt on in all the videos is 15. And whenever I want to try a thread, I buy white or off-white because it goes with everything. I can use it for hand sewing. Can use this for hexies. I can use this for basting applique. If it's a spool of thread, it can go on my serger. It can go in the top. It can go on the bobbin. It can go on the embroidery bobbin. So white is just kind of my go-to. And I also got M-class bobbins for my long arms. So I'll let you know when I get to sewing what those are like. And then the last thing, again, not much time to shop, but the last thing I got was something I've been wanting for a while. I got a clapper, which when you press your seams, as it's cooling, you just sit this on there to help it press flatter. So it's just like a long-term press. But I also got a super clapper and I got this size. It's 9 inches. So this will clap my color blocks. So those are 8.5, and I can just sit this on here. It's just like a weight to put on the top. So it's like when you're searing a steak, you put a steak weight on top of it. This is just a weight as your block is cooling to lock those seams in. So I was very excited to get these for color blocks and for all of my primitive gathering, little miniature piece and getting those blocks to stay down. Let's see. Dina, your HQ dealer is closing August 1st. You'll be depending on your internet friends. Dina, I don't have a good picture in my head of where you live. Where do you live? My local Handy Quilter retailer closed back in 2020. So I go to Connecticut, which is about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away, would be my closest Handy Quilter retailer. Terry, Beatrice is your grandma's name. Very nice. Patty, you love Villa Rosa. I will have to admit, I don't do a lot with Villa Rosa since I design cutie quilts, and it's a similar product. Theirs are on cute little color cards. Ours are bigger cards, black and white. Theirs are yardage and ours are pre-cuts. But since I have to focus on my job, I would love Villa Rosa, but I kind of have to focus on the cuties. But I do want to make that one. Let's see, Terry, did I get to see Bob Purcell? I sure did. And he got to explain how the thread is made to me because Bob Purcell owns YLI. Jim retired. And so much has happened in the quilt world in the 6 years since I've been to quilt shows. Because that's where you see the people in the industry. You get to see what's new. I've missed doing that. If I go to a big quilt show, I would have to go with my husband and have him take me in my wheelchair because I don't have a motorized scooter. But I'd have to have him take me because I just can't walk it. He'd have to push me around. Like when we go on vacation and go to museums, I go in a wheelchair and he pushes on the big pushes and then I can get myself to look at what I'm looking at. But, I'm different now than I was 6 years ago. And I'm just so tickled I get to be part of it still under any terms. That size clapper, yes. I think they make a 4x4, 6x6 and a 9x9 or something like that. This is TNT Quilt Boards. Let's see, TNTQuiltBoards.com. TNT like dynamite. And I think it's their initials, TNT Quilt Boards. Tracy's fabulous. I've bought a lot of stuff from her. My pressing station is from her. My ironing boards are from her. And when I saw her booth across from where I was, I'm like, I need a clapper. So here's my clapper. 8.5. This is 9 inch for my 8.5 inch blocks. Hello again, Tina. Let's see what else is new. So that was the quilt show, which was fabulous. And then I also drove home, and I have some fun things I was doing driving home. Existing on Diet Coke because my throat is sore from all the talking. So ice was great. Terry, best pressing station ever. They actually have a pressing station mini right now that might be good for Terry, who is vertically challenged, because I have the full size pressing station and it might come up to here on Terry. But they have a little smaller one that might work well for the vertically challenged. And it might work well for me when I'm on my days that I can't stand up to go move to the ironing board. So I might need one of those. So I was, sipping my Diet Cokes on the way home, listening to The Count of Monte Cristo. I'm rereading that book, which is one of my favorite books. I didn't read it till maybe 5, 8 years ago. It was turned into one of my favorite books ever. Like, where has this been all my life? Unlike Wuthering Heights, which I didn't read to an adult and said, why did I break my streak of never reading this? Because it's awful people behaving badly. So there you go. So I was listening to the Count of Monte Cristo, which is fabulous. He's out of prison. We haven't gotten to the part with the sandwich yet. There is no part with the sandwich. But I was also making meal plans because I think I talked to you last week that I'm in a position where I have 3 elderly parents, my husband's 2 and my mother, because my father's already passed, who specifically with some special medical needs, feeding themselves is getting to be a challenge. So my new freezer is being delivered tomorrow, and it has drawers and shelves, and my super cubes are being delivered over the weekend or next Monday. I pulled this out because I had some fake super cubes. There's 2-cup ones. So I have these out because I'm going to be making a cake today, just like a little snack cake. And I cannot be trusted with a whole snack cake on the counter. But if I bake it in 4 smaller snack cakes and freeze 3 of them, that should work. So if you love organization and little Legos and planning, I cannot stress to you how excited I am about this venture. So what I was thinking of, I have a new freezer coming and I'm trying to figure out what goes in each shelf. So I'm thinking like meats, side dishes, full meals, desserts, and then a drawer of vegetables. So full meals would be like a chicken pot pie where you don't need to pick a meat and a side. So like full meal, that sort of thing. And then I was thinking, wonder if I could organize my sewing room like that. And then I realized everything in my sewing room would not fit in a drawer. So maybe when I go to Guild tomorrow, I'll need to take a bunch of stuff with me to start trying to downsize and contain my organization, because I'm so excited having a neat, orderly kitchen organization that I've never had before, because my husband does the shopping and I've never been able to put anything in the freezer. The second he knows there's room in the freezer, he fills it. So I'm like, but I want to cook something and put some aside, or I want to buy something and put it in the freezer. So this is my freezer. Let's see, Patty, you need to get that clapper size. It's this size. I use the sizes I have and they help. Yeah, TNT quilt boards, like TNT Dynamite, TNT quilt boards. Terry, you misordered. I don't know if they had the mini one when you ordered, but I saw the mini one there this week. And the Count does make a delicious Monte Cristo sandwich. It is true. It is one of my favorite sandwiches. Do I have enough Melissa containers? Never enough Melissa containers. So that is an inside joke that I'm going to let you in on. My friend Melissa went from a big booming household to living on her own near me. And so she was invited to dinner every night and said, just come over for dinner and leave. You don't even have to be polite. And then if you are not able to come, whenever I cook, I'll just put whatever we made in a Melissa dish. So my friend no longer lives in the area. She abandoned me and moved south, but I still have Melissa dishes, which is just a meal. It's just a little meal dish I make for her. So I'm doing a variation of Melissa dishes right now with vacuum seal bags and cubes. Pretty darn exciting. So that the next time I go to Pittsburgh, where all 3 of our parents live, conveniently within 8 miles of each other, I can just take all of those frozen cubes, throw them in a cooler, and deliver them as needed. Someone who loves to cook as much as she loves to quilt, this is really exciting. If you're not a cook, this is not fun. This is a chore. How do you feed 3 elderly adults who live 450 miles away is a chore. Unless you love to cook and plan and shop. And I've wanted to do this for me anyway, and now it's just become necessary. So it's a super treat. Um, and I'm tickled. So you live in Huntsville, Alabama. I apologize. I do not know the retailers in the Southeast US. I haven't taught there a lot, as in ever. It's one of the states I haven't taught in and had to go on their vacation to check it off the map. So I went to Gulf Shores, Alabama. I was teaching in the Panhandle of Florida, and then my husband drove down, and we drove across to Mardi Gras because it was Mardi Gras, and so we stayed in Louisiana on the way there, and we stayed in Alabama. No, Alabama. We stayed in Mississippi on the way there, and we stayed in Alabama on the way home. Is that right? My geography is really bad in the southern U.S., but I think Gulfport, Gulf Shores. Anyway, I think I've been there. Let's see. Jeanette. Hello, Jeanette. Beach Plum Quilters of the Jersey Shore had a show last week, and our first place winner pictures are on Facebook. Check them out. I will when I'm done. Look, this is me making a note. Let me write that down on the back of a quilt receipt. Sadly, not a write-off, just personal stuff. Beach Plum Quilters. I will definitely check them out. Thank you, Jeanette. Is Gulfport, Mississippi a place? Anyway, I don't remember. We stayed in one state on the way there and one state on the way back. Just so for me to say I visited a state, I have to have a meal and a bed. I can't drive through. I have to stay overnight. I'm writing. Okay. I don't remember where I stayed. This was a while ago. And what I remember most about that trip is this lady is too old for Mardi Gras. It's not for me. It's not for me because about 8 o'clock at night is when I was going back to the hotel to go to bed because I don't drink, I don't party, I don't revel. I went back home to do my applique in the hotel room, but it was nice to be there. Gulfport, Mississippi. So I'm trying to think of where I went. I think Alabama is on the way. I haven't been to Oklahoma or Arkansas are two states I haven't been to down that way. I'm missing 8 states. Arkansas, Alabama, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Alaska, and Hawaii. Yeah, those are the 8 states I'm missing. So I did stay overnight in Alabama, but I can't remember where it was. Somewhere famous, but my brain, again, I just finished my dreaded April 15th T word. I just finished those, so my brain's kind of shot. But yes, Gulfport, Mississippi. I got a beautiful, got some beads for my Pandora bracelet there. I got a beautiful purple bead because that's the only way I was getting a bead for Mardi Gras because I didn't get them the other way. My husband, have you ever seen those videos online? Tell me your husband will never cheat on you without telling me your husband will never cheat on you. I can do those all the time. My husband with his VR goggles or I'm geeking out on things. But we're walking down Bourbon Street and there's women who have a lot of beads around their necks during Mardi Gras. And he said, she's got a lot of beads. I said, she sure does. He said, you don't have any beads. I'm like, that is true. He's like, how do you get beads? So I told him and he went, but she's a grown woman. I'm like, and there you have it. So the only way I will get a bead at Mardi Gras is if I go and buy one at a jewelry store in Gulfport. So yeah, I'm too old for Mardi Gras. Missed my window of opportunity there. And having my first kid, I was a parent by the time, I got married at 18, kids right away. Before I was even old enough to drink, I was on my second kid. I was pregnant. I had my second kid at 21. So I missed those party rebel years. And I think I'm okay with that. Sorry. Happy allergies. So I could go outside and write in my furniture. I have a table on my front porch that I'm sure is about this much pollen on it. If you're wondering about this, not the this, but spring, yay! Better than winter after we were traumatized. So I'm going to go in my sewing room and I'm going to work on my primitive gatherings. So I have my Betsy quilt, which is applique. I have my Echoes of the Past quilt, which is 4-inch star blocks or 3-inch star blocks. I have Unity, which is my 2025 quilt along, which is 2-inch broken dishes blocks. And then I think I'm going to make my grandson's baby quilt because he is almost 3 months old and I haven't made him one yet because we all had girl in mind. So I pulled out some cherry wood fabrics in blues and creams, which is my daughter-in-law's vibe. So maybe I'll piece that this afternoon as a kind of a reward. Sorry, I don't have any sewing to show you, but I've been quilting in other ways and spreading the handy quilter love, spreading the machine quilting love, teaching ribbon candy. And it was so great having a class full of students who'd never put their foot all the way down on the presser foot to try quilting and showing them how to make it work on their own home machine. Everyone, I was so impressed with everyone. And I am very jealous because I did not take to quilting like a duck to water like these ladies did. I had all ladies, so it was safe to say ladies. I can't wait to see what they do because they're going to do great things. When I teach a home machine quilting class, part of my job is to set the bar at the appropriate height because so many people think the quilt has to be absolutely perfect and you can't mark anything. You just have to make magic come out of your fingers. That is not true. And then I show the imperfections in my quilts. And they're like, but yours looks good. I'm like, so does yours. I quilt to be usable quilts. I can do show-worthy quilts, but I'd rather do 6 quilts instead of taking the time to do one that was perfect. When I do show quality work, it's usually on a smaller piece because I don't want to take it out. I'll take it out if it's egregious, but if there's a little bobble in it, it can stay. Somebody's dragging that quilt through the mud. It's going through the washer dryer. But it was just so rewarding. I have one class I teach that's called Line 'em Up, where I show people how to stitch from the top to the bottom of their quilt so that if you're, instead of wandering around, you can't get lost if you're stitching a pattern that is linear. She's like, oh my word, that was it. That was what I needed. I'm like, well, the rest of the class is just bonus then because you got what you needed. So it was just really rewarding for me, and I hope it was rewarding for my students as well. I think it was. Let's see. How do I have my cook set up? Let's see. My cook setup. I have my kitchen was designed for someone who doesn't cook. So I am going to be refinishing the kitchen in another year or two now that I'm back to work. That's what I'm working for now. But I have my freezer just tucked inside the dining room, or I will tomorrow when it's delivered, because I can't go up and downstairs, and the place to store my freezer would be in the basement. I can't do stairs, so it has to go in the next room. But it's just right there. It's all accessible to me. And I plan on only cooking, one meal a day. I don't plan on doing a month's worth of cooking in the afternoon. Again, because standing, it's physically kind of challenging for me. I plan on doing it little by little. So tonight, I already have beef bulgogi is marinating. This isn't for the freezer. This is for my belly. I have my sticky rice as soaked and is steaming. So I have a nice meal going for tonight, but it's not going to be going in the freezer. It's going to go in my belly. Let's see. Sounds like a good afternoon. Thank you for giving us a good afternoon too. Thanks for visiting with me. I appreciated it. Gulf Shore is 6 hours from me. So I was nearby because I just went through from the Panhandle over to Louisiana. See, one of my favorite things to tell my students, know your audience. Houston is one thing, kids are different. Yeah, if this quilt is going to college with a kid, it's going to get thrown up on when your roommate has a rager in the room, and the quilt's going to have to go in the washer and dryer. If it's going to be photographed for the cover of a magazine, which I've done, if it's going to be entered into a show, which I've done, those are different standards. Madeline, hello. You aren't late. You are just on time. And you've been to Houston, Dina. Yay. I went every year from '06 to 19. And then if I go again, I'd have to take my husband with me just because it's too much walking. But oh, it's amazing, isn't it? And I also miss eating at Papados in Houston. Fabulous restaurant. I kind of like food. And you're another 3-ish hours from there, Terry. Yeah, things are bigger down that way. Well, anyway, I'm going to head off and make my blondies in here, do some quilting, get some dinner going, and make some cookies for my husband, who now has to do the last minute shine and polish on our taxes because I'm late. Terry, you'd be my Sherpa. You would. I know that. It just traveling with a motorized wheelchair or scooter would be a little challenging for me from New York. There's a Papado near you. Okay, that could happen because I can fly to your town. We'll see if that happens. But anyway, thanks for visiting with me. I should be here next week. I'm teaching in going back to New Hampshire next week to Bits and Pieces to teach some hands-on long arm quilting classes Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Not in 2 days, but in 9. So I'm leaving next Wednesday. I should be here Tuesday and get to show you what I've quilted now that I'm home to quilt for a week and give you my super cubes total because I'm such a geek that this is exciting for me. So until I see you again, have your tissues nearby because up here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is allergy season. Enjoy your tissues, enjoy your allergies, survive the pollen, and do whatever brings you joy, whether it is cooking for elderly relatives, which is actually super fun for me. I'm like super excited. It's like they gave me a Christmas present by letting me quilt for them, by letting me cook for them, or quilting or gardening or whatever that looks like. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you again on Tuesday at 2:30 New York time next week.